guess what the next project is? So, first things first, how am I going to fix this? So, the first thing is, and you can see by the markings, is to figure out which way this goes on. Now it goes on like that. And there's some chipping, but that looks like a pretty decent fit all the way around. I mean, I'll press it a little bit, but it will require, I hope, minimal filling, and I can touch it up. There are a couple different thoughts on how to make this joint. And so some say cut this here, fasten these two together, and then remount that part of the leg. There's not a lot here. I think I would chew this up, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to simply drill a 5/8 hole into each part. I'm going to do that with the aid of a jig, which I will make next. So here's where we start. I need to get a hole mostly centered, pretty close to centered in both pieces, and they both have to match. So I'm going to switch off here and show you the jig here. So I had this made a little bit more tightly and fastened it across here and used these drilling guides. And so the idea was that I could drill through into the center, and when I was satisfied with where the location was, I would use this same piece in the same orientation in this kind of situation. This is obviously a different one. I have multiples. You have to do some trial and error, but what we do here, pardon me, we fastened the leg in there. Now I shimmed, because this leg is tapered, I shimmed it around and got it centered and squared where I wanted it to be. And then I drilled through the same. Remember, this was the same one that I used over here. And it allowed me to drill into what should be, as long as I kept this in the same orientation, the same spot on both pieces. It's really hard to do that because the top is jagged and you don't want to mess that up. You want to leave it. And so here we are back over here. This is the first thing I took once I get this ready to glue up, I'm going to use 2-part epoxy. I'm going to make sure that it seats in there real nice. This goes all the way down. I'm not going to fully push it down because it's a nice tight fit. I'll come back later and finish this joint, stain it. Hopefully you'll never know this was broken. And the other thing I'll point out is it's pretty darn straight. So if I get it into position here, the leg is pretty straight in both directions. This way, that way, this way, that way. But when I do glue it up, you have about 5 minutes to get that thing perfectly straight and level, and that's what I intend to do. Stay with me. Here's the glued up joint. You can see a little bit of the epoxy squirted out of there. I wet this down with some mineral spirits, so this, where I don't want the epoxy, seems to be coming off just fine. That's just sort of the overspray, if you will. But down in here, this is a lot more solid. And so I am just going to kind of level things up. I don't want the sharp edges of one piece of the wood to kind of overshadow the others, because that'll make a hard line to get smooth with the filler, which is coming soon. This doesn't take much with a rasp. File. So don't get crazy. Okay, I decided on no filler because there are no gaps, no holes, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit this with some stain. I mean, I'm trying to match the color, and it seems pretty doggone close to me. I'm working on this right now, so this fastens down to the tabletop and allows, this is loose, but it allows the table to turn on the base. It's a little too short. I'm just going to add a piece up here. And look,
added this little piece on the bottom, and I think it gives it just enough clearance. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want it to be too much higher, and I definitely don't want it to be much lower so that it rubs the piece here. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get this screwed down into that, and hopefully I get a good grip. There's a slight color variation in these two pieces of this top, but this piece on the right I just rubbed down with some 4/0 steel wool,